All right, I am here with Master Instructor Daniel Thompson, and we are going to be doing commentary on a lower body workout, my lower body B workout in my current upper lower AB split that was performed on the Imagine strength machines at Max Strength Fitness in Winter Springs, Florida, about 3 weeks ago. We're a little late getting to this. It was on the 1st, so our memories may not be perfectly clear. But before we get into the workout, I know that you wanted to discuss briefly just your situation with Max Strength Fitness.
Yeah, I'll start off by saying it didn't work out, and I am disappointed and discouraged about that. But I do have, since I've had some time, I've had a little more perspective. I asked myself, would it have worked out before my treatment? And absolutely yes. Absolutely, I would have not had the issues because of the treatment. First of all, when I went up to Cleveland, I got sick on the second day, and that should have been the first sign to me right there. Air travel was pretty much nixed for me, and I was invited to go to China, have it paid for, and so that's out. I'm not going to be able to even air travel because of that. Whether that was caused by medicine, something I don't know, but it was tough. So that was kind of hard. While I was going through the training at Max Strength, I was really struggling with, I guess, mental fuzz or brain fog. And part of that, my oncologist said it was probably due to the medications I'm on to control the cancer. And he said most likely, if you're up and moving, you're focused on up and moving and not as difficult to do what you're doing. If you're sitting, you can focus on what you're doing. And I didn't even think about that. But the biggest problem I had was simply bringing my skills to be seen. The owner frankly stated to me, he said, I'm not seeing the skill here. And in his defense, I was not displaying my best. I was not at my best at all. Whether or not that was due to the medication, due to whatever, just flat out, I wasn't able to be the best instructor or even a decent instructor, really. When I'm training you, I've watched you 100 times. We've worked out together, so it's like second nature with you. So how did you feel?
To train.
Yeah, you are. How did you feel when I was training you?
About the same. Well, a little bit less nervous than training with Ken, but it was really.
Yeah.
I
get that.
But it's about the same. But also because I've been doing this long enough, I don't require as much instruction as a novice. Yeah. So it does take some pressure off. There's not, I mean, and here's the thing, and I want everybody listening to keep this in mind. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. You're going to make mistakes. Your focus is going to waver sometimes. You're going to have off days, and you can't see yourself in the moment from the perspective somebody else can. And there will be things that you can do better that you might miss. And this is one of the reasons that I've actually gotten a lot out of, I've probably gotten as much out of recording my workouts as anybody else here has, because I can look at them and say, oh shit, that turnaround was not great. Or, you know what? I'm really not keeping my head as still as I thought I was.
There's no excuses when you're videoing. Yeah.
And I can watch the video and then I can see that, but it's after the fact. If you have somebody who knows what they're doing and they're right there instructing you, it does make a huge difference. And here's the thing. You've been teaching this for how long? Like 40 years almost,
Yeah, something like that.
you're not going to find a lot of people that are at our level. But if you get somebody that you can work out with regularly, have them join so that they learn everything that you're learning here, they'll be a better instructor. Work out together. Even if it's not somebody who is an expert on this, having somebody else that watches you that even knows kind of the basics of what you're supposed to be doing and how you're doing it is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so as long as I've been doing this, it still benefits me to have somebody who knows what they're doing, watching me and catching and reminding me, even though I know the stuff, because knowing it is one thing. And I have made an effort. I'm not totally consistent with it. I need to be better at this, but I've been making an effort to try to focus more just on performing every little detail of every little repetition as well as I can. But you can only make decisions based on the information that you have at the moment.
Yeah.
And there is additional information that somebody else that is watching you is going to have and be able to help you by providing feedback on what you're doing that you can't. The only way to get another perspective is to have somebody else that knows what they're doing watching you. If you video record it, that's also a great tool. If your gym allows it, or if you work out at home, I highly recommend record your workouts. Record your workouts and watch them afterwards. And this would not only help you with your form, but also if you go through everything here in the Start Here space, and if you go through everything in the exercise form space, especially all of the common exercise form errors videos, it's homework for you guys. Record your next workout, record a couple of workouts and go and see how many things that you can spot that you did wrong. One, doing this is going to make you a better instructor or a better workout partner if you're not interested in professional instruction, and it's going to help you improve your form, but not as much as having somebody right there doing it. So I found it beneficial. And also I know that I'm doing things that I'm not doing certain things as well as I could be, and I should be a little bit more mindful of it, especially since I'm putting myself out as an example of how this stuff should be done. And I know some people might comment, "Well, your form is better than most people in the gym." That's not good enough. It needs to be as good as is humanly possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it does help. It absolutely does help. And there are some things that you can only do with an informed and skilled training partner or instructor. Something that we're going to be doing more videos on is how to apply some things when and how to apply.
Where, how, and why. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to when, where, and how, and why it.
Yeah. So anyways, getting off on a tangent, but I thought it was tremendously useful. But I can see where with the side effects that you're having, it would make it more difficult to instruct somebody who is completely new, because there is so much more that you have to go over with them. And there are so many more things that they're going to do wrong that require observation and detection and correction, all of which, and you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of the people who are watching are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. If you are doing your job as an instructor and you are paying the kind of attention to your clients that you should be, it is mentally exhausting. If you are not mentally exhausted after doing, 12, 15, 18, however many sessions in a day, you're not paying enough attention. You have got to be focused on so many things, completely focused on all this stuff that the client is doing during the exercises, anticipating things that they tend to do. And you've got to be paying attention. You've got to be looking for indicators. Everybody has their tells. I think tells might be the good word for this, that they're about to do something they're not supposed to. And you learn this for different people. You learn their tells so that you know, Okay, oh, they're about to perform Valsalva's maneuver. They're going to be bottoming
They're about
out
to heave. Yeah, they're
and
about to heave the
unload, and
start. You can see it coming.
you don't see it coming though if you are not paying attention to
Yeah.
all of these things. You're watching their face, you're watching their hands, you're watching their breathing, their facial expressions. You're looking at their entire body and everything that they're doing with it, and constantly looking for tells that may be unique to certain trainees, certain clients, that they're about to do something. It tells that you wouldn't know of if you weren't paying attention to them consistently over time to begin with. And then you have to be on the ball when you notice these. And some tells, I think, are universal. You can tell somebody takes a real deep breath, they're about to perform a Valsalva's maneuver. Or when you see the face start to clench up, they're going to do something. Depending
Or
on
if
the
you see
exercise.
their feet start doing something, that's the easiest tell when the feet start moving.
They're starting to kick.
Yeah.
You know, their legs are swinging. You see these things, but you don't pick them up if you're not like focused. It's like, think about it this way: if you're driving on a country road on a beautiful day and there's barely any traffic, then it's easy. You're paying attention. You know, you're not going to.
I felt like I was driving in a rainstorm. That's how. When I train with you, when I'm training with you, that was, free and clear. That was pretty easy. But like I said, I've watched you 100 times. I know what to look for. I know all the tells, and I know the reaction. So I was ready. But when I was training everybody else, it was like being in a rainstorm. And but like I said, I'm 99% sure it was the mix of the medicines I have to be on. Also, it's the lack of sleep. I wake up every hour. So the lack of sleep is having something to do with it. As it turned out, I was not able to be a consistent trainer. And that, I think, was the part that was heartbreaking for me. If I'm a client, I want my trainer to at least be able to be there present for me all the time. When they're there, people have problems, people have things going on, but the attention you just talked about was what I would need as a client. And I knew I was not able to bring that. And I felt with what they need people who can be at the hours they need. I wasn't able to work in the morning or in the evening because of the situation. They need somebody in the morning or the evening. So I was, go ahead. You were.
Well, I was going to say, with personal training, a lot of people, and I got to warn you, if you're thinking about getting into this, people think, oh, I'm going to be a personal trainer. I set my own hours. I can work when I want, and I don't work. Exactly. No,
you don't.
You
the
work
client sets the hours.
People want to work out. If you want to have a full schedule, you need to make yourself available when people want to work out. And unfortunately, a lot of people want to work out early in the morning, like early to late mornings before they start their day.
From 5 to 8 o'clock is hugely popular.
And then they want to work out in the evenings when they're done with work.
5 to 8 o'clock.
Yeah. And some of them will want to work out on and off through the middle of the day on their lunch break, or you get the housewives and the retirees who will come in between like 10 and 2 or 3 or something.
And always be late or early.
You really, so this is, and I love training people. I do. I love training people.
I wanted to do this job because of that. I missed it. And like I said, I'm brokenhearted that it didn't work out. But if I was going to do something like that, I don't. This is a responsibility. This is not a fun. This is not McDonald's. This is somebody's health and safety is in your hands, and I was not present enough to take care of that. And that
which is
that was the heartbreaking part for me.
but it's the responsible thing to do. It's like driving. If you feel compromised, you're not going to offer to give somebody a ride somewhere. And again, with the driving analogy, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Exercise instruction is like driving in heavy traffic in a downpour.
I'm not going to drive
have
somebody
got-
drunk either.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
yeah.
I'm not going to train somebody drunk. Either me drunk or them drunk.
Speaking of which, though, I almost feel like I'm drunk by the time. I feel like what I imagined being drunk would be. I've
Yeah.
never been drunk in my life. I have received painkillers for medical, like when I had the
back
lumbar,
thing, yeah.
the disc herniation. Holy shit! Yeah, they had me on like morphine and some other stuff. I don't even know what, which was like. And I've been sedated for like the umbilical hernia repair surgery. I've never been drunk, but I can only imagine, based on what I've heard, what you see in movies and TV and stuff like that, that is what that would feel like at the end of workouts. I would never try to train anybody in that condition.
No.
And once you get to that point, you do have to slow down. I don't know if we're going to see it in this one. We probably will. Although I think my sleep deprivation might have contributed a little bit to that too. I've also been not probably sleeping as well, but I love training people. I really do. I train my wife. I train my son here. I've got a friend that I've been training periodically. I miss it, but going back to working out like as an instructor, doing in-person training, waking up at 4:30 in the morning to take on 5 o'clock appointments. And the 5 o'clock and the 5:30 ones are the ones that cancel or no-show on you the most, or at least that was in my experience. Like
I was pretty lucky. My morning appointments rarely canceled. It was the ones after work that would cancel frequently because either overtime or, yeah. But back to max strength. I want to say they, as a company, train people the way we talk about. They have the good equipment.
I was impressed.
Yeah, they have the good equipment. I hope you keep the relationship with them, especially. I want to.
I'll contact Brian.
Yeah, I want to. I want to, go back and train a little bit with them, but I just needed some space from that experience. And it's like what was it he said? And one of the Dirty Harry, man's got to know his limitations. I found out mine.
Well, it's hopefully they'll at least maybe keep you on in some capacity, consultant or something. But I am so. I've had conversations with a couple people about this recently too, about the big franchises versus like the small independently owned hit studios, because I know there are concerns over maintaining the quality of instruction with the bigger franchises. Mm-hmm. And I saw this firsthand with the Super Slow Zone. And this is why I left the Super Slow Zone. I'll keep this real short because it's not about this, it's about that. But because they lowered the standards. That's all I'll say on that. That's a whole different topic for another time. I think it's a lot easier to maintain high standards when you have studios that are owned by people who got into this because they're passionate about exercise, not because they were looking for a franchise to buy into, and they're completely new to it, and they have no history with high intensity training or exercise in general. And there's only so big that you can get while maintaining, consistency across organizations, especially in terms of instructional standards. So overall, I am not a fan of the huge, like nationwide, much less worldwide franchise model, because I don't think that it is possible for them to have the same kind of standards that you would in an individual fit like Ken's facility, like Ultimate Exercise, like Body Coach, where not everybody, but a lot of us were like HIIT fanatics.
Yeah.
But of the bigger HIIT franchises that I am aware of, so far, Max Strength Fitness is the only one that seems to be teaching proper exercise programming and performance and instruction.
Mm-hmm.
So whether they're able to maintain that standard across all the studios, it's going to come down to the individual studio owners and who they get. But of those types of franchises right now, not just based on what I've seen, but also a lot of stuff that I've heard about some of the others. And I'm not going to name names. I don't want to pick on anybody in particular here. But so far of everything in terms of, especially I've known Jeff Tomaszewski for years. I know he knows his stuff. And I was really impressed with Brian Stroh.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was excellent. And I would be very comfortable having somebody like if I had an exercise studio and Brian Stroh said, you know what, I want to be your head instructor, I'd be hired.
Oh yeah,
like that, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that makes me a lot more comfortable because I know he's doing a lot of the training for this. So if somebody is going to get involved in something like this, then I have no relationship with Max Strength Fitness other than just knowing some of the people involved. I'm not getting paid to say any of this. Although if they want to pay me, I'm not gonna turn that down. Yeah, I'm impressed with the equipment. To say I'm impressed with the equipment would be a huge understatement. But I'm also impressed with everything else.
I do want to get back there to play, but I'm not going to have the advantages I had before.
So these machines feel good. Those machines just feel amazing.
Yeah.
You don't really appreciate it until you go and you use machines that suck. And
you realize how much more well-designed machines enable you to just give out your full effort, just really go for it. Because poorly designed machines, poorly chosen exercises, like everybody should be choosing from the criteria for exercise selection, poorly chosen exercises hold back full effort. They hold back momentary failure. They hold everything back. And hence the need sometimes for more sets or whatever, but well-designed equipment just makes it easier to do it. Not easier, it makes it enables it. It enables all these distractions.
It makes it easier to work harder.
Harder, yes, that's a good way to say it. It makes it